explain what some of these changes could be as regard EHCP's emotional healthcare plans and then your concerns. Morning, Festus.
Good morning, Nick, and thank you very much for having me. So essentially, what we've seen happen over the last couple of years is a massive growth in the number of children who are in receipt of something called EHCP, as you mentioned, which is the Educational Emotional Healthcare Plan. And basically, what the government are trying to do is to reduce the number of children who have SEND, special education needs and disabilities, that qualify for EHCP, and then move that number into mainstream education, which even the teaching unions are complaining about. My concern is this: good intentions do not always result in good outcomes, especially because of the unintended consequences that this can have if not considered at the very beginning. And the basic premise for my concern is this: while about 17% of the entire student cohort in England and Wales have SEND, about 80% of all children that are cautioned or sentenced in the youth justice system have SEND. This number rises to 86% for violent offending. And I'm worried that by pushing more children into mainstream education without the right level of support, without the right level of resources in schools, it just makes the anguish for parents that much more, and we create a bigger pipeline for young people into the youth justice system.
And so ultimately, these youngsters, while there is a cost helping them at this end of the scale, it's so much greater cost if they are allowed to slip through and possibly even get into a degree of what's perceived as criminality, Councillor.
Well, all it just does is just move the problem to another department. So while you might save the bill from the education department's budget, that tab is going to land somewhere else, such as in policing. So when I was police and crime commissioner, I could see the amount of young people who were coming to custody who had SEND needs, and in some cases, some of this were not even diagnosed. But as we all know, the loopholes and the burdens and the anxiety that many parents go through just for the sake of trying to get the right level of support for their children is just enormous. I mean, my twin sister, she's been in education her whole life. She gave up because the level of demands and having to manage behaviors without the specialist toolkits in this school was just too much for her. And at a time, Nick, where we have about 10 to 15% of newly qualified teachers leaving the profession, school teacher numbers are falling, especially in primary schools, where we should be detecting this kind of issues early. I don't understand how what the government is proposing, despite the good intentions behind it, is going to help make the situation better. So, and just quickly, we had David Lammy talking about young people and offending and so on and so forth earlier on. I'm just concerned that this is going to make that pipeline even worse. And then, guess what we're going to blame? Because you've been talking about this a moment ago. We're going to blame the parents, who, for the most part, just want the best for their children, and the system is just not geared enough to deal with this.